of course, I'm talking to you now prior to the launch of your second book here on the Little Gray Ninja podcast, the top of the world, obviously. But
there you go. It's what I aspired to go.
Your agent, you've got that fourth book, that third book that was almost there, and the fourth book that's a little bit of trouble. There had to be some frustration, and I don't know what you're making in IT, but I have to imagine if you compare it with, I think, the annual salary for incomes according to the Authors Guild of 2017, 2018 was $6,080 annual salary. I don't know what IT professionals make, but I assume it's greater than $6,080. So was there a point there where you said, you know what, maybe this is more trouble than it's worth, and we're going to walk away? And if you didn't, why not?
Yeah, good question. So I think there was, what I can say for sure, I'm trying to think if there was a point. I mean, of course, there probably was like a point to walk away. I can't remember, sort of a distinct moment. I think more it was, maybe I'm not going to find like a traditional publishing home, which was really my goal, obviously, to go through all that. So I know I had definite points where I was thinking, hey, maybe I could self-publish this one or that one and that sort of thing. And, self-publishing is a totally legitimate option, right? But I kept thinking, no, maybe it was because I had, a good day job and I could it wasn't something that I was staking my, my income on or whatever. I kind of just kept at it. So I don't remember a time when I was like, I'm just going to throw in the towel completely, although it probably was. But there was definitely some, I don't want to make it sound like a rosy path, right? Because there was definitely moments of despair, as with all of us, right? The rejection is hard, and I got rejected, and I got so close in a number of situations, both with agents. And then after I found my agent is Alyssa Jennette at Stonesong, by the way, and she's marvelous. So I should get that in there. So any writers looking to submit, I think she might be closed to submissions though, so I don't want to. But anyway, she's marvelous. And when she was taking it to publishers, there was also a lot of moments where we had an interested editor, and then for one reason or another, it didn't get through acquisitions. And it seemed like it was that first book. It was like, wait, no, oh wait. I think, and then finally we hit the right editor and got the right deal, of course, as happens. But yeah, so it's funny, as close as you get, sometimes the closer you get, the greater the despair is when it doesn't work out, right? It's almost better to be early in the process and far away, because at least well, it's out there. It's just I haven't gotten there yet. But then when you get there and then it's like you're inches away, and then it's a no, it's like I don't know, maybe I was unique to me, but you almost feel like more like it's never going to happen than the earlier days. But I don't know, that's probably just the way it happened for me, I suppose.
I had a similar experience where I was already planning my marketing campaign, and then nope, it didn't quite work. I thought, oh, that was my only ever chance. That was it.
That's right. That's what you think. So here's two of us both having that thought. So any writers listening should try not to have that thought, because there's a lot of different opportunities out there, and you just have to keep plugging away. And I would say in my case, it was good to have the agent I had, because I remember even reaching out to her and saying, she was really like pitching to the big five mostly, because she thought that was the kind of book I had written, which of course that's number one, first thing to have is an agent that believes so strongly in your work. But then when I reached out to her, after a number of those rejections, and I said, well, maybe we should go for a smaller publisher. And she was really steadfast. She was like, no, I think this is a big five book. We just got to find the right person, which, it would have been fine perhaps to get with a smaller deal as well, with a smaller publisher, I should say. But I'm glad that she was so steadfast when I was wavering, because I think that's the nature of that partnership, right? Is that, one side props the other up at the right points for different purposes. So
the successful version of that relationship is.
Yeah.
And then of course she gets you with HarperCollins, a little obscure indie publisher.
Right. Yeah, it was great to get that, of course. And it's been great working with HarperCollins through both processes. And actually, I have a little bit of a scoop for you. I know you probably have more questions along the line of what you were asking, but it's not too much of a scoop because, again, like you said, this is not going to air till August. But I wouldn't have, if this had been yesterday, I wouldn't have been able to say it. I've announced it on some of the social media channels today. But I just learned last week and was just made official today that The Last Super Chef is Indie Next kids pick from the American Booksellers Association for July, August 2021. So it made the list, and they told me last week that they said you can't say anything until June 8th when the newsletter comes out. And so it came out. I verified before I got on this call so that I could say it without feeling guilty, even though it won't air for a while. But yeah, so I'm really honored that The Last Super Chef got that, and appreciative to HarperCollins and everybody else for the visibility for some of the books. It's been great.
We'll air for a while, but esteemed audience can see and live vicariously through you. They can see the glow that's
right.
radiating from you, and the happiness that it's obviously brought you. What does being on a list like that? What do you anticipate that's going to do for the book?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. The first book was on the Indies Introduced list, Dan Unmasked. So I know that, and I don't know the full details because I'm not a bookseller. I should find out more. I should have found out more with the first book. Maybe I will for this book. But I know that there's some marketing materials that the ABA, the American Bookseller Association, sends to the indie bookstores. There's in the announcement, there was something about a trifold piece that they send that you can prop up in the front of your store that shows this month's picks and that sort of thing. So obviously for me, thinking that it will hopefully increase the visibility a little bit, in both in store and, online, so that maybe we can get a little bit of a boost, and the more people who know about The Last Super Chef or Dan Unmasked, which, by the way, Dan Unmasked today, the paper, I got all these announcements today. It was a perfect day for the podcast. I'm jumping from one thing to the other, but Dan Unmasked, the paperback, was released today, so the paperback version is out as of today. Obviously, for the last year, it's just been hardcover and audiobook and so forth. But yeah, so anyway, finishing the answer.
It's tremendous.
Yeah, thank you. There's all this good news. I designed it so that we could just talk about all this on your podcast. But anyway, so getting back to your question, yeah, it's just hopefully visibility, and obviously all of us are writing to get the stories and the books we write that we think are important on some level in more hands. Not as much for a sales thing, although I don't want to be Pollyanna-ish about it. I mean, of course we want to sell books, but we want to just get the stories in the hands of readers who maybe it will mean something to. That's why I write the middle grade anyway. So yeah.
Well, obviously, I mean, you became an author because you wanted to make all the money. That goes without saying.
That's right. Yeah.
But I assume that great booksellers, you've got a publisher that supports you, you've got an agent, you've got an editor, you've got a lot of folks that. Not just you would want to see a successful for how hard they've worked on your novel yet.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Especially the, the agent-author relationship, obviously, is it's a business partnership, and how well the book does or I do is helpful to her, to my agent, and all the work she's put into the books and my career and everything else. And, of course, my editor, too. I mean, the more successful the books, she chooses to buy and to put forward, the better for her career. And I know she's the editor that I work with is Elizabeth Lynch at HarperCollins, and I know she's been promoted from associate to. I don't want to get this wrong, but I think she's like a regular editor now. When I started working with her, she was associate. So obviously that's completely due to me and my books, right? So that's happened. No, just she's fantastic as well.